The last resort. Captain Naomi Rodriguez traced her fingers along the worn control panel of the UES Perseverance, feeling every scratch and dent that told the story of the ship's 30 years in service. The vessel's antiquated fusion drive hummed beneath her feet, a sound that would make any modern spaceship engineer cringe, but felt like home to her crew. Captain, the Centaurian delegation is requesting we move our vessel from their designated approach vector. Lieutenant James Okonjo reported from his communications station, struggling to keep amusement from his voice. They say our aesthetic presence is disrupting their ceremonial arrival. Naomi glanced through the viewport at the gleaming fleet of Centaurian ships, their crystalline hulls refracting starlight like cosmic jewels. The Perseverance, with its patched hull and mismatched repair panels, stood out like a rust bucket at a spacecraft show. "Tell them we're conducting essential maintenance checks," she replied, sharing a knowing look with her bridge crew. The Perseverance might be the last Pathfinder-class vessel still in active service, but she had earned her place among the stars. Dr. Rajesh Patel, the ship's chief scientist, looked up from his jury-rigged sensor array. "Captain, you might want to see these readings. There's something unusual in the quantum substrate." His wild gray hair and oil-stained lab coat made him look more like a mad scientist than the brilliant physicist he was. Before Naomi could respond, the main display crackled with an incoming transmission. Admiral Hassan's hologram materialized, his expression grave. "Captain Rodriguez, we have a situation. The Proxima research station has gone silent. All communication ceased 6 hours ago." "What about the Centaurian ships?" Naomi asked, already knowing the answer. Their quantum drives would get them there in half the time. Those ships are part of their sacred fleet review. Reassigning them would cause a diplomatic crisis. The Admiral's image flickered. Besides, the Perseverance has something they don't. Adaptability. Your crew knows how to think outside the box. Dr. Patel's eyes lit up. "Captain, those quantum readings I mentioned, they're similar to theoretical patterns we observed during the Ta-CD incident, the one where modern ships couldn't approach because their quantum harmonizers were too sensitive." Naomi straightened in her chair. The Perseverance might be old, but sometimes older was better. Modern ships were so perfectly tuned to the quantum field that they couldn't handle irregularities. Her ship, with its patchwork of repairs and modifications, was like a quantum sledgehammer, not elegant, but effective. "Plot a course to Proxima Station," she ordered. "Dr. Patel, what can you do with the engines?" The scientist's fingers danced across his console. "I've been working on some modifications to the fusion drive. Nothing approved by coalition standards, of course, but it should give us an edge. Though there's a small chance it might cause a containment breach." Define small. "Roughly the same odds as getting struck by lightning while winning the lottery," he grinned. "Twice." Lieutenant Okonjo cleared his throat. "Centaurian vessels are demanding to know what we're doing. Their sensors are picking up irregular energy signatures from our engines. Tell them we're conducting an experiment in human resourcefulness," Naomi said, settling into her captain's chair. The familiar creak of its supports reminded her why the Perseverance had survived when newer ships had been decommissioned. Sometimes the most reliable things were the ones that showed their age. The fusion drive's pitch changed as Dr. Patel implemented his modifications, transforming from a steady hum to a deep, resonant pulse that vibrated through the deck plates. On the main display, their velocity began to climb beyond what should have been possible for a ship of their class. As they accelerated toward Proxima Station, Naomi thought about the 200 researchers whose lives might depend on their arrival. The Centaurians might mock their ship, but there was something to be said for vessels that could be fixed with a wrench instead of a software update. "Hull stress increasing," Dr. Paddle reported cheerfully, "but well within theoretical tolerances, mostly." Naomi smiled. The Perseverance might be ugly, outdated, and held together by more patches than original hull plating, but she had something no modern ship could match: character. And sometimes character made all the difference. The stars stretched into brilliant streaks as they pushed deeper into space, leaving the gleaming Centaurian fleet behind. Whatever awaited them at Proxima Station, they would face it the human way, with determination, ingenuity, and a ship that refused to be obsolete. Quantum whispers. The Perseverance emerged from its acceleration, run with a shudder that would have triggered emergency protocols on any modern vessel. Dr. Patel's modifications had pushed the old ship far beyond its design specifications, but like a well-worn boots, it had adapted to the strain. Proxima Station, dead ahead. Lieutenant Okonjo announced, his dark eyes fixed on the main display. The research facility hung against the star-filled backdrop, like a delicate crystalline sculpture, its normally luminescent walls now eerily dark. Dr. Patel frowned at his sensor readings. "Captain, I'm detecting quantum fluctuations unlike anything I've seen before. The patterns are beautiful, actually. Like watching reality itself dance." "Save the poetry for later, Doctor," Naomi replied, though she shared his fascination. "What's causing it?" "That's the interesting part. The station's quantum signature is perfectly ordered, too perfectly ordered. It's as if someone found a way to eliminate quantum uncertainty entirely." Lieutenant Emma Parker, the ship's tactical officer, spoke up from her station. "Ma'am, I'm detecting 3 Centaurian vessels approaching at high speed. They must have followed us despite their ceremonial obligations." Naomi suppressed a smile. Of course they had. The Centaurians couldn't resist showing off their superior technology, especially when humans were involved. "Open a channel." The holographic display flickered to life, showing the elegant crystalline features of High Commander Lysithea. "Captain Rodriguez, you will withdraw immediately. This situation requires the attention of those with proper understanding of quantum mechanics." Before Naomi could respond, Dr. Patel's console erupted in a shower of sparks. "Captain, the station's quantum field is expanding. It's like it's trying to impose perfect order on space itself." Through the viewport, they watched as waves of distortion rippled outward from Proxima Station. The approaching Centaurian ships, despite their advanced technology, began to shudder as the perfectly ordered quantum field interacted with their precise quantum drives. "High Commander," Naomi called out, "your ships need to pull back. Your quantum harmonizers are too sensitive to handle this phenomenon." "Preposterous," Lysithea replied, though concern crept into their crystalline voice. "Our technology is far superior to your primitive vessel." As if in response, the Centaurian ships' hulls began to glow with an otherworldly light, their perfect quantum alignment working against them. "Breaking point. Warning. Quantum field intensity increasing exponentially." Dr. Patel's hands flew across his console, adjusting systems that were never designed to handle such forces. The station's researchers must have found a way to eliminate quantum uncertainty completely, but the universe itself is fighting back. The Perseverance groaned as another wave of distorted space washed over them. But where the Centaurian ships struggled, their old vessels seemed to weather the storm. Every dent, every patch, every imperfect repair created a unique interference pattern that somehow disrupted the perfect quantum order. "High Commander," Naomi tried again, "your ships are in danger. That perfect quantum alignment you're so proud of is exactly what makes you vulnerable. You need to withdraw." On the holographic display, alarms were visibly flashing on the Centaurian bridge. "Impossible," Lysithea insisted, though their voice wavered. "Our quantum harmonizers are certified perfect by the Galactic Science Council." "That's exactly the problem," Dr. Patel interjected, his excitement overriding protocol. "The universe isn't meant to be perfect. It's built on uncertainty, on chaos. Your ships are too perfect to handle this level of order." Lieutenant Parker's tactical display lit up with warnings. "Centaurian ships are reporting critical system failures. Their quantum drives are destabilizing." Naomi watched as the elegant alien vessels began to drift, their perfect systems overwhelmed by the station's expanding field of absolute order. Meanwhile, the Perseverance, for all its flaws and patches, continued to hold together. "Dr. Patel," she called out, Why aren't we affected the same way? The scientist laughed, a sound bordering on maniacal. Because we're a mess, Captain. A beautiful, chaotic mess. Every patch, every repair, every modification we've made creates quantum irregularities. We're like a walking contradiction to their perfect order. Through the viewport, they could see Proxima Station beginning to crack, lines of pure white energy seeping through its crystalline structure. The Centaurian ships, their drives offline, were being pulled toward the phenomenon like moths to a flame. "High Commander," Naomi's voice cut through the chaos. "Let us help you. We can extend our tractor beam, but you'll have to shut down your remaining quantum systems completely." Sometimes the most advanced solution isn't the best one. There was a long pause before Lysithea responded, their perfect features showing the first signs of genuine emotion. "Our ships, our technology, they're failing. How is your primitive vessel still functioning?" Dr. Petal spoke up, his voice gentle despite his excitement. "Because, High Commander, we never tried to be perfect. We just tried to be good enough. Sometimes that makes all the difference." As the Perseverance moved to rescue the stranded Centaurian ships, Naomi couldn't help but feel a surge of pride. They still had to deal with whatever was happening at Proxima Station, but they'd already proven something important. In a universe built on uncertainty, sometimes the most reliable things were those that embraced their imperfections. "Dr. Patel," she called out, "what's our status?" "Hull stress at 82%. Quantum interference patterns are stable-ish, and I'm pretty sure I can keep the engines from exploding." "Probably." He grinned. "Ready to save the day, Captain." Naomi nodded, watching as another wave of perfect order rippled out from the station. "Let's show them what the worst ship in the fleet can really do." "Imperfect solutions." "Captain, I have a theory," Dr. Patil announced, his hands dancing across his modified console as the Perseverance held position near the distressed Centaurian vessels. "But you're not going to like it." The view through the main viewport was mesmerizing and terrifying. Proxima Station pulsed with perfect quantum order, each wave threatening to tear reality apart. The rescued Centaurian ships floated nearby, their flawless systems rendered useless by the phenomenon. "At this point, Doctor, I'll take any theory you've got," Naomi responded, watching another crack appear in the station's crystalline structure. "We need to make the station more imperfect," he explained, excitement building in his voice. "Right now, it's trapped in a state of perfect quantum order. But if we could introduce enough chaos into its system—" He paused, looking almost embarrassed. "We need to crash our ship into it." Lieutenant Okonjo turned from his station. "Crash the Perseverance." "Doctor, with all due respect, have you lost your mind?" "Not crash exactly," Patel clarified. "More like, aggressively merge our quantum fields. Every imperfection in our hull creates a unique quantum disruption. If we can overlay our chaotic field with their perfect one, we could break their perfect order." Naomi finished, understanding dawning. "But the Perseverance would never survive that kind of quantum interaction." "Oh, she'll survive," Patel grinned. "She just won't ever be the same. Every system, every hull plate, every circuit will be quantum scared. She'll never pass another coalition inspection." High Commander Lysithea's voice cut in through the comm system. "Captain Rodriguez, you cannot be seriously considering this primitive solution. The quantum dynamics alone would what?" Naomi interrupted. "Break all the rules. Sometimes that's exactly what we need to do." She turned to her crew. "This ship has been called obsolete, outdated, and worse. But today, those same flaws might save everyone. I'm not ordering anyone to stay aboard for this. It's volunteer only." One by one, her crew straightened at their stations. No one moved to leave. Right then, she smiled. "Dr. Patel, what do you need?" "Everything we've got," he replied, already making modifications. "And maybe a little luck." Legacy of the obsolete. The Perseverance moved toward Proxima Station, like a warrior embracing its final battle. Every patch, every dent, Every imperfect repair job on its hull now glowed with an inner light as Dr. Patel's modifications pushed their quantum field to its limits. Hull stress at 95% and climbing. Lieutenant Parker reported calmly. Primary systems are starting to fail. Reroute power through the secondary systems, Naomi ordered. And the tertiaries, if you have to. Today, we use everything. The ship shuddered as they entered the station's perfect quantum field. Alarms blared across every console as reality itself seemed to rebel against their presence. Through the viewport, they could see the station's perfect crystalline structure beginning to respond to their approach, its flawless surface developing tiny, crucial flaws. It's working. Patel shouted over the noise of straining metal. The quantum fields are interacting. Our chaos is infecting their order. Naomi gripped her chair as the ship bucked violently. How long until? The universe answered her unfinished question. There was a flash of light that seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere at once. The Perseverance's hull screamed as quantum forces rewrote its very structure. For a moment, everyone on the bridge saw reality from 1,000 angles simultaneously. Then, silence. Lieutenant Okonjo was the first to recover. Station's quantum field is normalizing. They're broadcasting on emergency channels. 200 researchers, all alive. Centaurian ships report their quantum drives are coming back online. Parker added, then smiled. They're requesting our assistance with recovery operations. Naomi looked around her bridge. Every surface was covered in new patterns, quantum scars that would never fade. The Perseverance had sacrificed its last chance at being normal to save lives. Dr. Patel laughed as he examined his readings. Do you know what we've done? We've created something entirely new. The quantum interactions have permanently altered our hull structure. We're not just a patched-up old ship anymore. We're a living example of controlled quantum chaos. Will she still fly? Naomi asked, running her hand along her newly transformed console. Oh, better than ever, he grinned. She'll never look pretty by coalition standards, but she'll be able to handle quantum anomalies that would tear their perfect ships apart. We're not obsolete. We're evolved. High Commander Lysithia's image appeared on their main screen, their perfect features showing signs of genuine respect. Captain Rodriguez, the Centaurian Federation owes you and your crew a debt of gratitude. We may have been hasty in our judgment of your vessel. Maybe now's a good time to reconsider those coalition equipment standards, Naomi suggested. Sometimes the best solutions aren't the most perfect ones. As recovery operations began around them, Naomi looked at her transformed ship and crew with pride. The Perseverance had lived up to its name, proving that there was strength in imperfection, wisdom in experience, and beauty in the scars that showed where you'd been. Dr. Patel, she called out, what's our status? He looked up from his modified console, which now sparkled with quantum energies that definitely weren't in any coalition manual. We've got about 15 new systems I don't understand yet, quantum scars that seem to be evolving, and engine efficiency that breaks 3 laws of physics. He paused. Want to see what else this old girl can do? Naomi smiled. Set a course, Lieutenant Okonjo. Let's show the galaxy what the future of imperfection looks like. The Perseverance, bearing its new quantum scars like badges of honor, turned toward the stars. It would never again be mistaken for an obsolete vessel. It had become something entirely new. Not perfect, not flawless, but exactly what humanity needed it to be. And somewhere in the vast expanse of space, other aging ships and their crews stood a little taller, knowing that their time would come. After all, in a universe built on chaos and uncertainty, sometimes the most reliable things are those that never tried to be perfect in the first place.